We begin today with Uber, the hugely popular ride-hailing app that lets you hire a driver to take you wherever you want to go. It has revolutionized the way folks get around. But now 14 women are claiming Uber drivers were sexually inappropriate with them, and the allegations range from harassment to rape. In a lawsuit now, the women say Uber has not done nearly enough to create a safe environment for people in its cars. And now they are fighting to get their allegations heard before a jury. Watch. For years, tech company Uber has been plagued by sexual harassment allegations at the company's headquarters and sexual assault allegations against drivers. Uber's new CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, says the company has been working to improve safety, and in a recent interview with Savannah Guthrie, addressed how the company deals with harassment.
One of the first things that we did as a leadership team is to change the company's fundamental culture. We always do the right thing now, and that includes how we treat our employees internally, holding people accountable.
But when it comes to holding a driver or the company accountable, it's complicated. To use the Uber app, a user has to agree to the terms and conditions, which include waiving the right to a jury trial and handling any disputes with Uber in private arbitration. Pamela Anderson worked with the National Limousine Association, a direct competitor of ride shares, to create this online ad in January.
Many ride-hail companies consider their drivers third-party providers, so they don't have to accept any responsibility or accountability for their actions.
In fact, several women have publicly accused Uber drivers of sexually assaulting or harassing them.
When it first happened, I wasn't going to do anything until I told my mom and my sister, and they were just like, no, that's sexual assault, him touching me, kissing me.
I was so humiliated and felt like that I was in the wrong. And then a few hours later, I tried to take my own life over this because I was so disgusted.
I was basically taken for 2.5 hours in an Uber car. With the next day I had defensive wounds.
When I looked on my app again, he just changed his picture to make him look like someone else, but it was the same guy.
Last week, these 4 women, along with 10 others, wrote an open letter to the company, asking the board of directors to, quote, voluntarily release us from the arbitration provision contained in the consumer agreement to the Uber app so that we are able to pursue our claims of sexual assault, rape, sexual harassment, and gender-motivated violence through our court system, rather than in a confidential arbitration. Please welcome Rachel Hibbert, Joy Marshall, Addison Hoover, and Stephanie Nahn, along with their attorney, Jean Christensen. Welcome to you all.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for being here. Addison, can I start with you? Because
yes, of course.
That was a heartbreaking and shocking snippet there.
Absolutely. I remember everything that happened to me, having to fear for my life, and the filth and disgust that I felt after leaving the hospital. The first time I had to go back.
But just to jump back, you get into the car.
Right.
You're taking an Uber like everybody has done so many times.
I was going from my boyfriend's house to my twin's house. And that's only 13 minutes away. And he's done it before. I mean, he was so calm, and he just told me, no, you're coming with me. When he passed my sister's exit, and then I begged him to get off at the next one, he just put his hand on my shoulder, and I remember him just coming down and holding my hand and saying, no, you're coming with me. And that's when I knew that this was serious. And
then how? And did he force you into his apartment, or where did he take you?
Oh, yes. He forced me into his apartment. He walked behind me the whole time. He raped me. And then afterward, I had to convince him and make him feel comfortable enough to take me back. And I don't know, by the graces of the universe, and I don't know who was watching me that day, but I was able to get to my sister's and get him to walk me to the corner. And as soon as I got to her driveway, I bolted to go run to her house. And as I turned the corner, she was there with police officers. And I just remember embracing her and saying, get that man, he just raped me. And going to the hospital and sitting there waiting to get the rape kit, I flipped, lost it. I left, I went home. You just go through this humiliation and this guilt and wondering if you did something. And I tried to take my own life. I cut myself. Thank God my boyfriend, he kicked the door down and called the police. And I am now so thankful today that I'm able to be here and sit here with the rest of these women.
So are we.
To get this out there, because this has happened before. He's done it, and I can guarantee you he'll do it again.
Is he facing criminal charges now?
I believe so. I hope so. I'm not sure.
You filed a police report.
Absolutely.
All of you have filed police reports.
Yes.
So these are women who have tried to take the bull by the horns, file criminal charges, and pursue this.
Yes.
And yet one of the issues we're talking about today is Uber's attempts to get them to manage these claims in arbitration and keep them away from a jury trial. And you can understand why.
Right.
Right? I mean, Joy, you were very young when this happened to you. How old were you?
I was 18. I just turned 18.
And is it true that you didn't really even fully comprehend that you had been sexually assaulted?
Yeah, when it happened, it was in the middle of the day. I just picked up a bike. I just started school, and I had class later that day. And I just picked up the bike. I was going to use it to get to class. And when it happened afterwards, I didn't really know what happened. I was kind of freaked out about it.
Did he just sidle up next to you in the car, or what did?
I was trying to get my stuff because the entire ride he'd been kind of, really inappropriate, touching me and everything like that. It was summer. It was like in the middle of the summer. So I was wearing shorts at the time, and he just took that as, he just started touching me and everything like that. After the ride, by the end of the ride, he was, pressed against me, trying to force himself onto me, kissing me.
How'd you get out of there?
I reached back and just, pushed open the door. I was just playing with the door, and I just reached back and pushed open the door.
How did he get you in the front seat?
The bike I ordered an Uber XL.
It was your bike?
Yeah, and I'd never sat in the front seat of an Uber before, but I didn't think anything of it because I was just like, oh, it's, just the front seat, it's fine. And he told me to get in the front seat. Because the bike was taking up so much space in the back.
Right, you don't think anything of it because you've got your bicycle back there.
So I didn't think anything of it. I climbed in the front seat, and I thought, oh, this is just a normal Uber. Even though I'd never sat in the front seat before, I was just like, oh, it's going to be fine.
And then you're in, it's not unlike being in an elevator. It's a locked box with a stranger, and the difference is in the car, he's in control, and you're not. I know you believe the night you were attacked, Rachel, that you had been drugged.
Correct.
But not by him, right? Are you
Correct.
saying, you were at a bar and you feel like somebody slipped you a Mickey?
Yeah.
So you do what many of us would consider the responsible thing, which is get a ride home. You didn't get behind the wheel of a car. You didn't stumble out on your own. You get into a car. And what happened?
On my Uber app, it showed that he had dropped me off at some gas station 40 minutes after me getting in his car. He didn't pull up until my house until 4:30 in the morning, so I was in his car for 2.5 hours. Luckily, I had my phone on me, and at some point, my friends were calling me quite a bit because I'm a mom of 3. I don't go out. So it's not normal for me. So they're expecting me home at a certain time. And because I wasn't, they had made several phone calls. I was able to get to my phone and say hello. There was a lot of wrestling, and then I think he would hang it up. So eventually, he took me home. The friend I was living with at the time was outside when he took me home, and he wasn't expecting that. So when I got up to get out, my friend came over and was like, what did you do to her? Because I obviously looked like I had been in a fight or something. And the Uber driver sped off and kicked me out of the car 2 blocks down the road and, left. And the hard part for me is I don't know my story because Uber hasn't given me the opportunity to find out. They haven't released the driver's information to the detective at all. So for 2 years, I've been waiting to find out who this person was and what happened to me.
What?
And Uber has refused and has not responded at all.
So you don't know who this man is?
No. And from my understanding, when we look at the app and the other ladies are in the same position, men are still driving for Uber. Uber's response to me at first was, I'm sorry, I won't pair you with this driver, to which I said, it needs to be more than that. I'm filing a criminal case. I want to pursue this person. Okay, we'll have someone call you. And never got a phone call.
Right, so these men are still driving, and we don't know
driving.
what woman is getting into their back seat right now.
Yeah.
Stephanie, 21 years old when this happened to you?
Last year, so 20.
So 20, living in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And what did your driver do?
My driver came from the front seat to the back seat, and I thought, okay, maybe he's opening the door for me because I'd ordered Uber Pool. There were no other passengers in the vehicle for the entire duration of the ride, which is fine. I was like, I'll get home earlier. So he came into the back seat, and he's just like, oh, I just need 1 minute with you. I just need 2 minutes. I just need 2 minutes with you, baby. And I'm freaking out. I don't even know what to do. I'm like, no. And I'm reaching for the door handle. I'm trying to leave, and he pulls my hand away like, no. I just need 2 minutes. I just need 2 minutes. I'm like, no, I really need to go. I take my bag and then I swing it towards his face. And then I grab the handle and I run out of the vehicle. And as soon as I do that, he somehow magically jumps into the front seat, makes a U-turn, and then starts following me.
He's chasing you.
But he's still in the car. And then I'm running towards my house, and I'm half thinking he's going to follow me, and I'm terrified. I'm like shaking. I can't even find my key. I don't even know what to do. So I see around 6 months later that he's still driving with Uber. At first, his profile said 2.5 years driving with Uber. Then when I check again, when the whole Me Too thing started coming out, and I was getting really angry about that, because people are posting on Facebook, 13 years ago, someone put their hand up my skirt on the subway. But you need to say something when it happens. The time to say something when something happens to you is now. Otherwise, the moment is gone.
And that's what you're trying to do. That's what they're all trying to do. But there's a reason they're here. There's a reason they're here. They can't get a public forum with Uber. Uber's shutting that down, which is why they've come directly to you. And they have a message for Uber you need to hear after this break. We are back now with 4 women who say they were sexually assaulted by Uber drivers. We reached out to Uber. Overnight, they gave us this statement that reads, "Our hearts go out to the victims. Sexual assault has no place anywhere, and we want to do our part to end this violence. We recently strengthened our safety approach with new features, including an emergency button, driver screening improvements, and the addition of the former Secretary of Homeland Security to head up Uber's Safety Advisory Board. This is just a start, and we're committed to doing even more." Is that true, Jean? Do you believe that?
Unfortunately, no. Jay Johnson's there now, and if they're serious about making changes, the first step would be to end forced arbitration.
And so forced arbitration is basically, you guys never willingly agreed to arbitration. You just clicked on the Uber app, right?
Right. Yeah.
And suddenly it's like, you know how it's like you agree to Uber's terms and conditions. And you have to check that box to get through virtually any website now. And now they're saying because of that all these women have to arbitrate any claims that they have. They can't litigate them in court in front of a jury. Have to go to an arbitrator in private.
Confidential arbitration, correct, where they will be able to prevent all the data and all the evidence about all these instances that we know have taken place and keep them secret.
And so you've all written a letter to Uber CEO saying you should release us from those provisions. We want our day in court. And have you heard back?
No.
Nothing. This is really scary because for the women who are out there, Uber says it runs background checks, but there's a question about how good those background checks are. And after this happened to each one of you, you're sitting there knowing he can find me again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I went back home to California from New Jersey. It's a vulnerable feeling to not know. Like at any point in time, I can walk out my door and this person can have just parked outside.
Because he's got your home address.
Yeah.
He's got your home address.
Yeah.
And you were saying that I don't take Uber, but you're saying that when you sign on for Uber, you get a picture of the guy's license plate?
So you'll get their license plate number and a photo of the driver. But once your ride has ended, you no longer have access to his license plate number. You only have a photo.
So you need to take a screen grab of that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Or
absolutely.
I would say now for friends, because you're in a situation where we need to use it. Take a picture of the driver, take a picture of the car, and take a picture of the license plate.
And what else? What do you do now, Joy?
For me, especially people my age, when you're calling an Uber, you're not really thinking that far ahead as far as, I have to get a picture of the person, I have to get their license plate and stuff like that, because you kind of assume that it's going to be safe because it's supposed to be safe. So, for me personally now, I'll walk or I'll take the bus or something like that, or if I do have to go somewhere farther, I'll use, car rental services or just do rideshare with my friends.
You try to go in a group, but you can't always go in a group. We don't always travel with friends. What's the one thing, Jean, people need to remember?
People need to remember that Uber claims it's a global company that's all about transparency and all about doing the right thing. And if it really is going to do the right thing, then it needs to disclose to all of us, and especially women, just what they are signing up for when they click that
And
app.
what the histories of this driver are. I want to know what's his history and how thorough are these criminal background checks. That's what Pamela Anderson has been saying, that she doesn't think that they are thorough enough. Thank you all for telling your stories. We'll continue to follow it, and all the best to you. I know this just happened, so all the best to you in your healing.